We start again.
Yeah. All right, Dad, tell us your name.
My name is Waldemar C. Tellers.
And you go by?
Wally. And they call me Wally.
When were you born, Dad?
I was born in Watkins, Minnesota in 1915.
And so you are what age now?
I am now 102 years old.
All right. In what year did you, what branch of service did you join?
I joined the Navy, volunteered in the Navy in 1942, and I was discharged in 1945.
What did you do in the Navy?
I was discharged as a chief electronic technician.
What made you choose that field?
When I enlisted, I hoped to get the education they promised me, which they did give. They sent me to Texas A&M for a while and the Navy school in Treasure Island, which was basically a radar school at that time, and that was my specialty.
So what ship were you assigned to?
I was assigned to the USS San Francisco CA-38, and I aboarded that ship, and I'm trying to think. After it returned from the Solomon Islands, where it had received serious damage, when it was repaired, I was assigned to that ship and basically I was in the radar division.
Did you have responsibility for setting up equipment when you were in the service?
Well, yes, while I was in the service, I had the good fortune when I was at Treasure Island and we had finished school and I was remaining to be assigned to a ship that we were installing new radar equipment on the island for the school. And when I got on the ship, fortunately, that was the type of equipment that the ship had. So I was an expert at the beginning.
I remember you telling us about an officer that was thought he knew what the equipment was all about, and
Say that again?
you were telling us at one time about an officer who thought he knew what the equipment was all about, and finally had to let you handle it because you knew what you were doing and he didn't. You remember that story?
Well, yes, we had an officer that was in charge of my division who had received expert training in school, but unfortunately he had no practical experience, which was a kind of a drawback. I mean, he didn't. When emergencies came up, why you can't go to the book. You have to have some kind of an instinct to do something. And of course, I had the luck of having the training on this particular equipment. That was a big help. But the officer was very knowledgeable. He knew what was going on, but he just hadn't had the hands-on experience.
So where did the ship stay most of the time while you were in the service? Where were you during the war?
Well, most of our service was in the South Seas. All the actions after the ship had came back to Treasure Island, to San Francisco for repairs. We went to the Aleutians first, and we went back down to the South Seas, and that's where we spent the rest of our time on all the different invasions, and ended up in the Korean Gulf at the end of the war, which was the end of the war. Yeah.
How did you get notified that the war had ended?
Oh, well, I don't remember exactly. I guess when after the bomb was dropped, why, of course, everybody figured that might be, most probably be the end of it. It just, the ship got all the news, you know, and that's where we got it.
Do you, was the ship involved in any particular skirmishes, action?
Well, we were Iwo Jima or not Guadalcanal. Well, the ship was at Guadalcanal in that area, but I wasn't on it at that time. But it was all the other operations it was engaged in. Right now, I can't think of the names go by me.
What was your, what did you like best about being in the Navy?
Well, I don't know. I had a job, and I mean, I had kind of full responsibilities, and I enjoyed that, and that was my main object as far as being a sailor. You wouldn't call me one. I was certainly a boot.
So you left the Navy in 1945, and what did you do the rest of your career?
Well, went into business for myself and began repairing radios and television sets.
Did you build a TV set? I thought that you built one of the first black and white sets in the neighborhood that we lived in.
Well, yeah, when television came out, we had kits we could buy and assemble, and that was what I did. And we had one of the first television sets in our neighborhood for a long time. It only had two stations, and only one of them was on regularly, and we would turn the lights off and turn on this television set. It was just a little 5-inch tube sitting on a box, and when the lights were turned on, the room would be full of people trying to see what's going on.
How fun. So, Dad, anything else you would like to tell us?
I'm not good at this.
Well, right now you're 102, and you're still active, and you're still bowling. And tell us about what happened to your bowling team last year.
Well, our bowling team last year, it's all family team. We ended up in first place. I'm not the best bowler, but I have some sons that are pretty good.
So that was fun.
That was fun. I still enjoy it, but I'm not very good at it anymore.
Well, thank you, Dad, for sharing your story.
Okay. I hope it means something.
It does to us. It does.